Hello everyone and welcome on today's video. Today I would love to talk to you about the automated reporting capabilities within GHEtool Cloud. Reporting is becoming more and more important within every engineering field and hence also in the geothermal design field. And if you're a drilling company, perhaps you have to report to a lot of clients. For engineering firms, you oftentimes have bigger projects with a lot of design variations. And in the past, reporting all those variations and to all those clients can be quite a time-consuming task. And that's why with GHEtool Cloud, we've provided you with an automated toolchain to automatically export all your scenarios that you've calculated to a PDF report that's ready to be sent to the clients, saving you hours and hours on individual projects. So let's get started. I've prepared for you a project with two simple scenarios. They are more or less the same. The only difference is that one scenario has 6 boreholes of 100 meter and the other one has 5 in an irregular configuration. So the way you typically work with GHEtool is you work out a specific design and then you duplicate scenarios until you converge to the final design, or you have the design variations that you would like to see or like to show to your client. So the first scenario in this case was a bore field with 6 boreholes. And if we take a look at the temperature plot, we can see the bore field is oversized. Now, if you have difficulties interpreting these type of results, we have a special video and an article about interpreting temperature profiles from GHEtool Cloud, and I will link to that in the description below. So we have an oversized bore field, and on the left we can see the report settings. And we have for every scenario the possibility to write a description of the scenario. So what, for example, I can write here is I see that the bore field is oversized. You can write here the assumptions you made, perhaps why you've calculated the scenario. It does not really matter. Just for you to know what you've calculated, because most of the time we tend to forget, especially after a couple of months, why we did a certain scenario or a certain variation in our design. If we hop over to our second scenario with the 5 boreholes, we can see that it's rather well sized. We tend to go a little bit above the maximum fluid temperature, but in my opinion for this case not something to worry about. So let's just write that down. This sizing is better, but pay attention to the maximum temperature limit. And let's go ahead and save it as well. And now we're actually finished. So we've made 2 scenarios. We've written down a description. If I now press generate report, we will end up with a PDF report with both scenario 1 and 2. But there is more variation to it. So if we look again at the report settings, you see here that we have the option to include or exclude the scenario from the report. If you have, for example, a project that's been going on for quite some time, or it's a rather big project, perhaps you have 10 or 20 different scenarios and you do not want to export them all into one report, then you can, for example, say, well, scenario 2, I do not care about. I will leave that out of the report. But for this case, just let it in. And the other option we have per scenario is that we can choose to show the bore field coordinates in reports. So in this case, in scenario 2, when we have this irregular configuration, it can be useful to display it explicitly in the report, but when we have just a regular grid of 6 boreholes, I will just set it to no so you can see the difference in the final results. So let's go ahead and save that as well. And then if we hop over to our project dashboard, we have quite a lot of other report settings. So we have a report name, my first report. We can set the date for the report and a report language, which can be different from the project language. And currently it's only Dutch, English and German that we support, but we'll be adding more and more languages in the future. We have the possibility to write an introduction chapter and a conclusion chapter to our report. If we leave this empty, it will just not be shown, but in my opinion, it's always beneficial to have some sort of introduction where we can, for example, state where the project is located. We can state some assumptions, which heat pump did I use, where did the ground data come from, etc. So let's just write, this is an introduction and the conclusion is this report is awesome, with an exclamation mark. We can both work with SI units or imperial units. We have the option to include design parameters in the report. Now, for most projects, this is not needed, but when you're talking to or communicated, for example, to the drilling company or within between experts, it can be useful to set this parameter to yes, because then at the end of the report, you will get quite a long list of all the different parameters you've set within GHEtool Cloud. So it's the most transparent way of communicating all the calculations or all the inputs you entered in the software. But for example, for residential clients, it's not needed in my opinion. And then we have the report template. So if you hop over to our site, GHEtool.eu, you can see that on the license tab, we have different reporting license. So we have a default reporting license with the layout template of GHEtool itself, and we have an advanced license for reporting where you can have a subtitle, also your client information, your own company logo, your own color scheme, your general terms and conditions, etc. But let's start with the default one that you will have at least. If you have not calculated or created a report yet, it will just say report, generated report. Now I've already done that, but it's outdated now. So let's go ahead, click that, and it will say that the report generation has started. In the meantime, you can still download the previous report while it's generating a new one in the background. This can take between 10-20 seconds and a couple of minutes, depending on the number of scenarios you have, whether or not these scenarios were already calculated within GHEtool. These are all parameters influencing the time it takes to report. So now it's done. Let's go ahead and download this report. Let's open it, and that's the result we end up with. So this is the default template, a GHEtool calculation report with my title, my date, and my company. And this is the table of contents. So we have an introduction, we have two scenarios, we have a conclusion, and then we have our design data, that one parameter that we checked in the project dashboard. So let's go ahead and scroll through it. So this is our introduction paragraph. And then we have our first scenario. Now, the looks and feel of every scenario will be a little bit different depending on which aim you choose. For example, if you just say, well, over at the scenario, calculate temperature profile, the result will be different, of course, from the optimized load profile aim. So in this case, we have a description, we have an input section and we have a result section. The input section in this case shows just the number of boreholes, the minimal spacing, the efficiency of the heat pump, and then the heating and cooling demand. Now, one important thing to note here is that's written in primary energy. So this means that it's the energy that's coming directly from the ground. So it's not the building demand, because the building demand is put onto the heat pump, but it's what the heat pump actually extracts from the ground. So I have here, for example, the peak of 12 kilowatts. If I hop over to GHEtool and to the thermal demand tab, I can see here it's 15. So the building requires 15, but the ground only has to deliver 12. And the reason why we've done that, perhaps we will add the function in the future to also have it as a secondary load, but it's to have the most transparent way to communicate about the geothermal load, because the way you size your bore field is not depending so much on the heat pump that you installed, but on what exactly is coming from the ground. So that's why we chose to give everything in primary energy terms. If we hop over to our results section, we see here the equivalent borehole thermal resistance and then some temperature numbers, the minimum and maximum average fluid temperature, and our temperature curve. Our second scenario is the same, but here we have the different bore field coordinates shown, and the other type of information is actually the same in this case. And then we have our conclusion, and then we have our two, let's say, annexes with the design data of scenario 1, with all the different parameters we've entered in GHEtool, so other people can recreate our calculation or double check it if you want. So that's the layout for default reporting. Let's go ahead and in our project dashboard switch it to the advanced setting. And here I can enter my first subtitle. I can also mention an author, which is me in this case. And then I can, for example, also write the client information, which will appear on the first page. So let's say my client's streets somewhere down in a country. And let's go ahead and update that as well. Now, while that's being generated, let's move over to our account dashboard and to our admin dashboard, so I can show you where you can actually change the layout of this advanced report. So if you have entered your company information, you can go to the license tab on the right, and there you have your report license, your tailored report, your advanced report, or your default report. And if you've bought the advanced report, you will see that the tab or the panel on your left, the settings report template, has become enabled. And here you can change the title color, your background color, and your accent color, text color, table color, and header text color. You can upload your company logo. It's the best to do this in the PNG because that allows for a transparent background. You can upload your general terms and conditions. For example, if you're a drilling company and you want to use this report as a quotation for your client, you can add your general terms and conditions to it. You can set the width of the logo, and you can say, well, the logo should appear on the left, the center, or at the right. In the future, we'll be adding more and more small layout changes to this advanced reporting. But let's go ahead to our, let's move back to our project dashboard and to our project over here. And we can see that the report has been generated. So let's go ahead and download it. And here you can see the layout for my own company, Ineat, which is an orange theme. So it's the title, my subtitle. We have the company information here written down on the first page. I have my client's information also here on the first page. And let's scroll just through this report. We have our introduction, our scenario. So the information itself is the same. If you want to change this, then we have also the tailor-made reporting for you. But here you can see that the color scheme is changed, that the accent colors, the header bar, it's all changed to whatever you entered in the settings in the admin section. So that was basically everything I wanted to say about the automated reporting. If you go to our website GHEtool.eu and if you scroll down on the homepage, you will see here the key feature custom reporting with both the examples of the default layout or the advanced layout. So if you think reporting is something that you will be doing quite a lot within your company, then it can be useful to take a look at the advanced reporting. If you think this video was helpful for your journey with GHEtool Cloud, please consider subscribing. And if you think it will be helpful for your colleagues or for other people in the industry that you know, please share this video and we can grow this community together. If you have ideas for other videos, tutorials, FAQs, etc., please let us know in the comments and we will be more than welcome to make a video about it as well. Until next time, bye.